Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Parham, editorial page editor for the Arizona Daily Star. AZ Illustrated Nature has moved to Monday nights. Tonight in AZ Illustrated Metro, coming to you from Studio B, we'll meet some newly sworn-in Americans and find out about an upcoming election in Vail. We'll also get a breakdown of the latest state financial numbers, take a look at construction at the Mariposa Port of Entry, and ask what impact the arts have on our economy. But first, a look at today's top stories.
The Pima County Public Library is going to start accepting credit cards and online payments for late fees and fines now that the Pima County Board of Supervisors has agreed to implement that new policy. Previously, people could only pay their late fees in person with a check or cash. Library users can now pay their fines and fees online from anywhere, including any library branch. The new policy requires patrons enter their own credit card information and specifically prohibits library employees from handling credit cards or typing credit card numbers into the system. The service joins other online options the Pima County Library offers, including reserving books, checking out electronic books and magazines, and browsing the library's catalog. A new report from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control shows that Arizonans have a life expectancy of more than 20 years after the age of 65. That makes Arizona one of the top states in the nation when it comes to longer life expectancy. According to the CDC, Arizona's elderly also enjoy good health for the vast majority of their lives after 65. Officials with the State Department of Health say some of that can be attributed to lower rates of chronic disease and many community-based education programs for retirees. And that's a look at tonight's headlines.
Tuesday was Citizenship Day, and across the country this week, more than 25,000 people are taking the oath to become U.S. citizens. One ceremony was at the historic Tumacacori Mission, where Michael Chihot found these new Americans.
All persons who are taking the oath, please rise. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
My name is Angus Neil Torres McKinnon. I am from Tepic Nayarit, Mexico. It was a long journey, I think. I never knew how important it was till a couple of years, 5 years ago. It's been a great journey. I'm very excited today to be a U.S. citizen. Very proud. I mean, I've always looked like a Caucasian. Talk, speak. English is my first language. Spanish is now my second language. But I'm very proud. It's a paper, but it's a very important paper. It just sets you apart, from a goal that I've met, that I've come up with. It's a long but good road. I first thought about becoming a citizen in about 2005. Since 2005, and then ever since then, working hard, saving money, and here I am today. About taking the oath as a citizen, that I understand it, I can say it in English, smile about it, and share it with all my other new citizens as well, all my new friends. Yeah, looking forward to voting, very much so, very cool. Hopefully, well, maybe not looking forward so much to jury duty either, but yeah, looking forward to voting very much.
And I hope that all of you come to this country for the same.
My name is Rosa Booth, and I was born in Magdalena, Sonora, Mexico. I came to the United States in 1963. I was 8 years old.
And you came with your parents?
Yes, I thank my parents for bringing us to the United States. We are a big family. We're 14. From Mexico, there was 10 of us coming into Mexico, and we've always thanked him for bringing us to the United States because it's just such a beautiful nation. You know that I thought that being a U.S. citizen would be like, okay, this is part of what I have to do now after I finished all my education and I did everything that I was supposed to do. And I thought, okay, I'll be a U.S. citizen now because it's the right time. But I didn't think that it was going to be so important and that I was going to feel so good after I did it. So it's a special day. It's my birthday. And I didn't know that it was a citizenship day, and it was, what other day is it today? Constitution, citizenship, and my birthday. How coincidental is that? It's very special for me, and I've just been honored, and I've just been blessed, and I'm humbled to have been done this at this day. The reason why I did it is because I realized that I needed to give something back. I needed to practice my citizenship, like voting and serving the jury. It is important that I'm part of the whole picture here.
Hello, I'm Leticia Cini. I'm born in Chihuahua, Mexico. I came to the United States almost 7 years ago. I feel really proud because I did it. I sent my application in June, and I have my fingerprints in July 17, my test in August 27, and today is my citizenship. I want to be a USA citizen because it's really important for my daughters, for my husband, and because I live here in USA, and I love this country.
See more stories from new citizens and a rundown of the legalities and intricacies on the path to citizenship Friday at 8:30 p.m. on Arizona Week. Residents in the unincorporated area of Vail, southeast of Tucson, are facing a decision. Should they become a town? Joining us today to discuss the possibility are Rob Samuelsen and Jeannie Haldorsen, both members of the Citizens For Vail Committee. Thanks both for coming in the studio with us today.
Thank you very much.
Rob, let's start with you. Your incorporation proposal is something you've been working on for a long time. It's now on the November 4th ballot. Tell us how you got to this point.
Well, thank you. We started about 4 years ago with a committee structure. We started looking at our vision and values. That was the first committee. Then we looked at how do we protect those values with a form of governance, and we examined 5 different forms of governance in the area. Then we looked at the feasibility of incorporation. We had a town hall meeting, and citizens voted 57% in favor of incorporation, so we looked at the feasibility. Is it feasible was the question that we answered. Those were done under the auspices of the Vail Community Action Board. And once we determined the feasibility, we created the Citizens for Vail group to push forward with the incorporation.
And just exactly what does the ballot say? You may not know exactly, but close enough. What does it say?
Well, there's only one item on the ballot. It's Proposition 403, and it asks a simple question: is do you favor incorporation for the town of Vail? And it's a yes and no question.
So that makes it pretty easy. Jeannie, talk to us about the area, who gets to vote, how many people are out there?
Well, we have approximately 11,500 residents in Vail. With that, there are 7,100 registered voters, and that is who would obviously be choosing to move forward with incorporation. And I think what we're seeing is that people are excited about the opportunity and idea of incorporation. And what that means for us is to have that local control in the area. And we know 3 things, Maria, and one is we can't look back. the way that Vail has come so far, the way we have. And two, if we don't do something, somebody else will in the area for us. And three is, this is the opportunity for us to take control locally, and that would help us to improve roads and have other opportunities to keep Vail the way that residents choose it to be.
Well, you mentioned roads. Now, what else is it that you really get to specifically take control of, that you're eager to get control of?
An incorporated town has three things that they'll need to ensure that they do in order to be a town and be incorporated. One is have a police force. Two is a town administration. And the third item is to maintain the roads. With those three items, that's all that we would be charged with taking care of once in an incorporated area.
And Rob, talk to us about, because Vail is a relatively small area when you look at the entire valley, what does it mean to the rest of us living in Pima County for you to be incorporated?
Well, the City Council, because Vail butts the City of Tucson boundary, we had to get permission from the City Council in order to incorporate by state law. And they voted 7-0 in favor of Vail incorporation, because they know that with the state shared revenue formulas that we have, that a rising tide raises all ships. Where we have 92% of the population in Maricopa County live within incorporated boundaries, our percentage is much lower. So most of our taxes go up to Maricopa County. By incorporating, we bring more of that state money back to our area, which helps everybody.
And tell us now, that's more than $3 million.
About $3.5 million.
And just what will you have to cover? You'll have to cover roads yourself, you'll have to cover police. Do you intend to have your own police department, your own road crews? How will that work?
Well, initially we're going to be a contract city. We have to contract those services out. Obviously the new town council will have to make those hard decisions. And
why not stay unincorporated, though? There must be some chance that this doesn't pass. So why wouldn't you stay unincorporated, or perhaps have yourself annexed into the city?
Annexation was one of the 5 options that we looked at. There are certain advantages and disadvantages of that. The main thing is, by incorporating, the town council is our neighbors. So we'd have a council of 7 people out of 11,500 instead of 1 person out of a city of 600,000, or 1 board of supervisor out of a county of 1 million people. So we have more representation. And local government is the purest form of government. It's a Jeffersonian principle, so we believe in that.
And Jeannie, when we were talking earlier before you came into the studio, you talked about Vail and really what a tight-knit community it is, and this only solidifies this if it goes through. In the time we have left, can you talk about what that feels like out in Vail?
You know, it's exciting. Like I was saying earlier, when I go to the local store there, I sing the cheer song, you want to go where everybody knows your name, because it is a very tight-knit community. The school district is, people are very active in the school district. They want to be in Vail because of the school district, and they really support each other. And so this is an exciting time, I believe, to be a Vail resident. I believe people are really excited about the opportunity for the future of Vail that we can have with local government and incorporation.
And just in the last couple of seconds, what do you think the chances are of passing?
I believe they're excellent.
Thank you both for coming in today and talking to us about this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel ordered a full review of security procedures and clearances at military facilities worldwide in the wake of the massacre at Washington's Navy Yard. We have an exclusive interview with Secretary Hagel tonight.
The highest responsibility leaders have is to protect their people, is to take care of their people. And when something like this happens, something failed, something broke down.
Plus, U.S. financial markets shot up to record highs after a surprise announcement by the Federal Reserve Bank that it will continue its economic stimulus program.
And we travel to the northernmost tip of North America, where climate change is endangering a centuries-old way of life for Native Alaskans.
This is our garden, our grocery store, you know. It's kind of hard to say if our younger generations will be able to do what we do.
Good evening, I'm Gwen Eiffel.
And I'm Judy Woodruff. Those are just some of the stories we're covering on tonight's PBS NewsHour.
Fans of Breaking Bad are having trouble breaking away from the show, which ends this month. It's even worse for the actors.
When we filmed it, it certainly was, it was just sad because it was saying not only goodbye to that character, but it was saying goodbye to the whole show.
I'm Steve Inskeep. A talk with actor Dean Norris on the next morning edition from NPR News.
This week, the state released its report for the past year's finances. We're interested in the figures for how much the state took in and spent and what that means. Chistopher Conover joins us to break it down. Christopher, thanks for coming in the studio today.
Absolutely. It's nice to move out of the newsroom.
Good. The revenue numbers we received this week look pretty good. Tell us about them.
They do look good. These are the preliminary numbers for the year end, for the fiscal year. And the big news was the state has $895 million ending balance to the positive. Now that's more than budget writers and revenue estimators were expecting to have. So we've got a surplus depending on who you talk to.
And what happened to bring us to this surplus? What changed that they didn't expect?
A couple of things happened. In the last few months, we've taken in more revenue, tax dollars, than they had estimated. And that is partially a reflection of the economy turning around and people spending more, so sales tax receipts are coming up. Also, the governor's decision and the legislature's agreement, despite the political fight, to expand Medicaid. That brings in more federal dollars than they had counted on, not only for the Medicaid expansion, but it also brings in some matching funds in some other areas. So there's a little bit more money than they had expected.
Well, if those are matching funds, then they already have those designated of what they're going to spend them on. What about the rest of the money?
The rest of the money is interesting. It's sitting there right now in, I guess, what you could call kind of a rainy day fund. So the question becomes what to do with it. Right now, they're not going to do much with it. They're just going to leave it where it is for that rainy day. It helps erase the structural deficit that the state has. And also,
let me stop you. Can you explain structural deficit as opposed to if we're bringing in enough money?
Absolutely. The structural deficit deals with things like bonds and maybe some loans that the state has, interest payments and things like that. It's not a deficit, we don't have enough money, but it's more of a debit on our account, if you will, if you look at it in total. The structural deficit right now is in that 400 million range, and with this surplus or extra carry forward money, as some people call it, what that means is we will be able to erase our structural deficit 2 years earlier than planned.
And what does this mean for future budgets, just in the few seconds we have left today?
It gives lawmakers some options to work with if some unexpected expenses pop up, and also deals with paying off that structural deficit.
Christopher, thanks so much for coming in the studio today.
Absolutely.
The Mariposa Port of Entry in Nogales, Arizona was built in 1976. It had 2 private vehicle lanes and 1 commercial truck lane. Originally, traffic volume was low, but that changed over the years. Now, the Mariposa Port is the nation's 3rd busiest land port of entry. As Laura Palmisano reports, it's now getting a facelift.
It means fresher and faster and more business coming to Arizona. It means basically looking at eliminating wait times at the old outdated infrastructure and actually making things move through our ports and get to grocery stores and restaurants much faster.
More than 4 billion pounds of Mexican produce enter the United States through the southern Arizona city of Nogales each year. The fruits and vegetables cross the border through the Mariposa Land Port of Entry that's under construction. The Fresh Produce Association of the Americas estimates the value of those fruits and vegetables that cross through Arizona is worth about $3 billion annually. The Mariposa Port sees about 1,300 commercial trucks a day during the peak winter season. produce industry officials say despite the additional lanes at the port, commercial truck drivers still face long wait times.
Right now, during the construction phase, we still face some of the delays that we faced before just because of staffing shortages at our port of entry. You'd still have waits of 1 to 2 hours at the worst during the very peak part of the day and the peak part of the season.
The Fresh Produce Association represents U.S. companies that import produce from Mexico and distributors that ship those fruits and vegetables across the globe. The Mariposa port is the primary port of entry for produce entering the country. The renovations at the port include doubling the capacity for commercial vehicles by adding 4 new lanes and tripling the capacity for private vehicles by adding 8 new lanes. It has a price tag of $187 million.
It'll bring more employment, for sure, more CBP officers at the port.
The mayor of Nogales, Arizona sees the Mariposa upgrades as a good thing.
Another thing that it'll bring is employment with the maquiladora industry, with warehousing, for the distribution part of it. So there's a lot of positive things. It's just that we have to make sure that we plan right.
Garino says during construction at the port, wait times for pedestrians and non-commercial vehicles have actually been reduced.
You can go across right now into Mexico and walk in and probably come back, if you want to come back, within 10 or 15 minutes, not an hour. It's time like it used to. Cars are being reduced right now to half an hour. It all depends the peak time of the day. If the staffing is done properly and we have the staffing needed at the port, the flow of traffic coming from Mexico going south and north, because we also have inspection going south, will reduce.
The Mariposa port has remained open during construction, and the additional commercial and private vehicle lanes are already open too. The renovations call for the demolition of outdated facilities at the port. There are now new inspection areas, and a new commercial inspection dock is being built. Customs and Border Protection says the port should be fully operational by the end of the year, months ahead of the August 2014 completion date.
We're moving into the new facility at the end of the year, but the final construction when GSA turns over the facility to CBP will be in August of 2014.
Moore says the renovations at the port will eventually translate to faster delivery.
It's going to be better for produce because it's going to mean that the supply chain is more predictable, it's faster, it's getting to the warehouse so that if it arrives at 4 o'clock in the afternoon today, it can be on a truck at 5 o'clock in the afternoon today and be on the road and get to stores and consumers much faster.
The Mexican government recently announced nearly $20 million to upgrade infrastructure south of the Mariposa port in Nogales. Construction on the Mexican side has yet to start. Until then, the flow of traffic coming into the United States is slowed due to a lack of lanes, causing a bottleneck for northbound drivers. Just as our taste in art is individual, so is our opinion of what the arts provide the community. The Tucson Pima Arts Council is trying to nail down part of that equation to determine just what the industry contributes to the economy. Andrea Kelly reports on the tangible and the subjective impact of the arts in Pima County.
The Public Arts Agency in the metro area did 2 studies to calculate what arts mean in Tucson and Pima County.
The cultural industries and the sector that we sort of measured generates $87.7 million annually to our community. We're part of a national initiative that Americans for the Arts does every 5 years to measure the economic impact of the culture sectors in various cities across the country. We survey our grantees, and as a result of that, that's where we got that figure.
The Tucson Pima Arts Council says local jurisdictions get $3.8 million in tax revenue from that $86 million of arts spending.
That's a really interesting figure because in reality it says that we're bigger than the sports industry in our community, which is I think around 38 million. So it sort of says that, you know, not only do we add to the quality of life to our community, but we also have an economic impact.
He says the social impact of arts is far more difficult to measure. That would take an attempt to quantify the value of an experience.
However, we know that the average attendance of our citizens that goes to cultural events is about 2 million people a year. So that says that, you know, we have a vital community of cultural participants. We participate more in culture than other cities.
The studies show Pima County residents attended more arts events than Maricopa County residents and more than the national average. This community generates more nonprofit arts revenue per capita than Maricopa County, and we spend about 25% more money on arts and culture than the national average. One of the Tucson Pima Arts Council studies calculated economic impact. That's how much money is spent on the arts. The other focused on how the arts fit into the community. It looked at audiences and tourism related to arts, plus the types of businesses either directly related or benefiting from the arts.
So this is the project I worked on.
Artist Kathleen Velo says there are a lot of those trickle-down economic impacts from artists.
Artists want to also participate, attend, and be involved in other art performances, art galleries, openings, dance concerts, and so on. So I think we support the economy tremendously.
The economic impact of the arts isn't just what we all spend to partake in the arts. Velo says art generates business.
I also teach at Pima College. I teach photography classes, and my students spend a lot of money in small businesses in Tucson buying materials, as most students do and artists do. Artists need materials, and I think a lot of artists prefer to buy local. So we really support small businesses in Tucson and the metro area.
We know that beyond the cost of admission to attending a cultural event, there's about $30 that is spent among the audience member, whether it's babysitter, whether it's dinner, whether it's parking.
Bedoya says Pima County is comparable to San Diego County, with about 5% of the workforce in what he calls creative industries. That includes for-profit businesses such as commercial dance studios, photographers, actors, lighting experts, musicians. But why does all of this matter? Why did the Tucson Pima Arts Council bother coming up with an economic impact figure?
Some people just want to hear the story of dollars. Some people want to experience the joy of a music concert. They're both valuable. They both say that we add great deal to our civic vitality, and it makes us Tucsonans. So we have to do both storytellings. All this data tells a story about the power of our industry.
There's a non-measurable aspect of the arts. It helps create a community. And I'm not sure that a lot of big cities are well known, or small cities are well known because they have Raytheon or a university or an Air Force base. I think they become important on a human level because of the arts. And we're human.
That's our show for tonight. To keep up with the latest news and watch segments from this and other editions of AZ Illustrated, go to our website, azpm.org. I'm Maria Parham. Thanks for watching.